Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Mani.Plus. This episode is called The First Whisper, and it's about the very first sign that your heart might be struggling. Before a heart gives out, it whispers. That first sign isn't what many people expect, not a sharp pain, a dramatic collapse, or a sudden frightening episode. It's something quieter, something so easy to dismiss that you might not even notice it. For so many people, the earliest symptom of heart failure is shortness of breath. It happens during simple activities, climbing stairs, walking to the shop, or even lying flat in bed. Your heart, struggling to keep up, causes fluid to back up into the lungs, and suddenly that deep breath you've always taken for granted doesn't come so easily. Other early signs can include unusual fatigue, swelling in the legs or ankles, or a racing heartbeat. But often, it's that breathlessness that is the first clear signal your body gives you that something's wrong. It's easy to brush it off. I'm just tired, or I'm out of shape. Some might even think it's a chest infection, but really, it's your heart starting to take a toll. That is the moment to take a closer look. So what's actually going on inside the body when shortness of breath shows up? In heart failure, especially left-sided heart failure, the most common type, the left ventricle can't pump blood out to the body effectively. Blood backs up, pressure rises in the lung vessels, and fluid leaks into lung tissue. This is called pulmonary congestion, or in more serious cases, pulmonary edema. That's where the shortness of breath begins. Imagine trying to breathe through a sponge soaked with water. Your lungs are working, but they're fighting against fluid that shouldn't be there. That's why people with early heart failure often feel breathless during everyday activities, or even wake up at night gasping for air. It's not just a struggle to breathe, it's your heart whispering, "I'm struggling." Caught early, this is where medicine, lifestyle changes, and sometimes surgical interventions can make a huge difference. To help us understand this better, I spoke with Dr. Simon Shaw, a cardiologist and heart failure specialist at Wythenshawe Hospital in Manchester. He has been on the front line, treating patients whose hearts are failing and whose lives may one day depend on a transplant. Dr. Shaw, thank you for joining us. What's the first sign you notice in a patient that tells you they might have heart failure?
The number one complaint we hear, especially in the early stages, is shortness of breath. Patients often think it's just aging, being out of shape, or a chest infection. But when they say they're getting breathless, walking to the kitchen, or needing extra pillows at night just to breathe, that's a red flag.
And at that point, what kind of tests confirm heart failure?
We start with a physical exam, looking for swelling or abnormal heart sounds. Then we run a BNP blood test, which measures stress on the heart, and an echocardiogram, an ultrasound that shows how well the heart is pumping. Heart failure doesn't mean the heart has stopped, it means it's not pumping effectively. Caught early, we can manage it with medications, lifestyle changes, and monitoring. In some cases, we can prevent it from ever progressing to the stage where a transplant is needed.
Thank you, doctor, for that valuable information. Listening to you, I couldn't help but reflect on my own journey. As a 51-year-old Asian man, my experience was a slow decline. It didn't feel dramatic at first. I just felt tired. Then came the shortness of breath, then the swelling, and finally, the truth. My heart was failing, and only a transplant could save my life. I remember driving back from Ipswich with my family. I was coughing up blood, gasping for air. Somehow, I made it home, told my wife I was going to the hospital, and collapsed at the reception desk. When I woke up under bright lights attached to machines, they told me my heart was failing, my left ventricle was inflamed, and my ejection fraction was down to 15%. I didn't even know what that meant, but the nurse's face told me it was bad. I couldn't walk across the room without sitting down. My legs were so swollen, I couldn't wear shoes. And still, I didn't want to believe it was my heart. Weeks later, after countless appointments, I was placed on the transplant list. Every day after that felt like both a countdown and a lifeline, hoping that someone else's worst day might become my second chance. My story, like so many others, is a reminder. Heart failure doesn't just happen overnight. It creeps in quietly, and if we listen closely, the body tells us when something's wrong. Heart failure doesn't always come with a warning label. Sometimes it's as quiet as a missed breath or a little swelling in the ankles. But early detection saves lives. So if something doesn't feel right, if you're unusually tired, short of breath, or just not yourself, don't wait. Talk to your doctor, get your heart checked. And for those whose hearts are already at their limit, hope doesn't come only from medicine or machines. It comes from organ donors, people who make the most selfless decision imaginable. One donor can save up to 8 lives. A donated heart can give someone decades more to live, laugh, and love. Please consider becoming an organ donor, because someday someone might be waiting for your yes. This has been Mani.Plus. I'm Mani, and I thank you for listening and for keeping your heart open. If this story resonated with you, please subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. You can also follow me on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, TikTok, and Instagram for updates and behind-the-scenes insights. And if something you heard today inspired you or gave you hope, please take a moment to leave a review. It helps this community grow and reach more people who need these stories. May God bless you with health, peace, and love. Bye for now.